yeah. I actually had that as an idea for like the next game. Yeah, I guess we'll see on Friday.
Mount Redtooth, its top littered with man-made eyes that stare into the endless depths of space. Tonight, the champion of light will depend on them to pick out a message from the ether.
And there is no driving in this game, so that's a plus. For me, it's a plus.
As history repeats itself, the man remembers the patterns. He knows that he needs the missing part for the telescope.
He knows. Can't outrun him. I have to avoid like the grenades that he keeps throwing. Because it does explode a lot of just random darkness. Yeah, like me too. I always did that, like when I first started Alan Wake, I always switched them to the left side. And then every cutscene and whatnot, it switched them back to the right. So I ended up just letting it go. Right, yeah. I just, after like 3 or 4 times of switching him over, and with it automatically switching him back, I'm like, you know what, it's not worth it. Going back and forth. Then you kind of get used to it. Like here, I'm actually used to him being on this side, so I'm just gonna go up and around, maybe. You know, I'll just go the way it's telling me, and maybe I can just come down the opposite side. Yeah, so they have the crossbow, the snail gun. They had an SMG at one point as well. So here you can just automatically replenish your health. I think it goes out for a little bit and it slowly recharges again. I mean, overall, this is still a good game. Oh yeah, and then you have these different crates. So I could get the hunting rifle. I'll switch because I'm not really good with the crossbow. Okay, so it looks like there's another manuscript around here. Like, I like the new guns. And the enemies are interesting too. So the hole in the fence just for the manuscript.
The darkness rose from the depths of Cauldron Lake and took Alice. It needed words. It needed me to write its way into our world. She was leverage, a hostage. I complied, but with a twist. I put in a loophole that gave me a chance to fight back. I was hunted by shadowy enemies, but I faced the darkness. I fought it with light. I drove it back. I saved Alice, but it came with a cost. I was trapped in the dark place below Cauldron Lake.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, like for 9, it's not too bad. So it's pretty much you go through 3 different levels a couple times through. But yeah, it's worth... I would say it's worth it. Okay, the shoot's really slow. Like, my guess it's gonna be like 4 to 5 hours of at least trying to 100%. So it's definitely a shorter game, but so I guess it's up to you if you want to spend the 9. Unless it's just on like, I could have sworn it was Game Pass. But maybe it could just be console Game Pass, I don't know. Okay, the shooting is so slow. Like, I'm trying to get the 2 shots out before they fly again. And then I end up shooting, or like pressing the trigger, and then I'm like, forget it. And then he shoots it as I'm looking away. So it's like, well, obviously that one's not gonna hit him.
It's you! How dare you! No, wait. It isn't you, is it? I suppose you'd better come in.
Is it me?
I'll unlock the door.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you, King. Big love to you too. Thank you for stopping by. Are you streaming today? Is today a working day for you? Awesome. Yeah, maybe afterwards I can stop by, see if you're on. Yeah, definitely have a good day and a good stream as well.
I have the replacement part for your telescope, Doctor.
All right. Let's get it installed.
Wait, so... maybe it's gonna be on the outside of the building, or it's gonna be upstairs for that manuscript. Yeah, and then they just have these boxes to reload all your ammo and stuff. Oh, that's right, I don't have to talk to her. I had to talk to her the first time, and she had to tell me where the telescope thing is, so we're skipping some of our steps. But my guess
I think we
is...
can give this a go, although I have this strange feeling that something will
Don't
go
start it
wrong.
up yet. There's a problem with the coolant system.
Yes, that's right. I remember. All right, let me think. If they're sabotaging it, they'll be at the primary coolant pipe outside. If you can secure it, we should be ready to pick up the signal. That is why you're here, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I'll take care of it.
Before you go, if you have the time, I'd appreciate if you came up here and explained a few things. All of this is very strange to me.
Okay. I guess I'll go up and talk to you. I'll be the nice Alan Wake. Be the good guy.
Hello.
I don't quite know what's going on, but I seem to remember having had this encounter before.
It's not deja vu, Doctor. This has happened before. We're caught in a time loop.
That's utterly insane. How could that be?
I can't really explain it. I suppose I could call it magic.
I don't believe in magic.
Neither do I, but I can't argue with what I've experienced. Listen, what matters now is the signal. The last time we only caught a part of it. I need the rest of it. Whether you believe me or not, you want to look into this as much as I do, right?
Yes. All right.
I realize that you have trouble believing this.
That's an understatement. I can't deny that what you say resonates with me on some level I don't pretend to understand. But for all I know, I'm simply delusional.
But it's not just you. I've experienced the same thing as you. Doesn't that prove something, at least?
Maybe. On the other hand, given your appearance, and the fact that you're trying to convince me that I'm not insane, perhaps you're merely a hallucination that accompanies my delusions.
You're not having a psychotic episode, Doctor. For what it's worth, I'm a skeptic by nature. I completely understand your reluctance to believe me.
There are people caught so deep in their psychosis that they retroactively manufacture memories and beliefs that conform to the situation at hand.
Sure, but you have to stop second-guessing yourself at some point, if you want to get something done.
So I think before she was saying she had like something that she had to go to before coming to work, and that's why she's wearing the fancy dress under the lab coat. Like, he did ask that before, like, do you always dress like this? That's funny that you asked that, too. Is this normal to have short dress on? Alright, so this one's just... Alright, so I'm at 31 out of 53. Yeah, because I saw that one before. Like, I'm wondering if it's gonna have me go through 3 times, like, each level. Oh, I thought he was already... So it seemed like there were more manuscripts that were missing from, like, the second time through, so I wonder if it's gonna be a 3-time repeat for the missions.
After my disappearance, they thought I was dead. I might as well have been. I know it's been 2 years. I know Alice has moved on. I've tried to find a way back to her, back to my life, but escaping the dark place is almost impossible. Time does strange things here, but dreams and radio signals can pierce the veil between the worlds. I catch glimpses and echoes of the world. Sometimes I send messages out. I can only pray that they hear them. Stories come naturally to us. We can't help it. There are many different worlds, many competing realities within our heads, fueled by books, television, even barely remembered childhood tales. There's an endless supply of fictional concepts more familiar to us than anything or anyone real. We have a far greater connection to the fictional characters we know and love than the random people we pass on the street. Our destinies and inspirations are shaped by lies, myths, and fables.
I mean, he's not wrong with that.
There are places where our world is worn thin, and another reality brushes against ours. One such site is Cauldron Lake near Bright Falls, Washington. But there are others. That other reality is dark, vast, and malleable, always in flux. In its depths dwell vast forces and alien energies. They're dangerous. But in one of these places, if you know how, you can channel the power of that place and use it to shape reality.
Yeah, so it seems like... So maybe there are 4 more.
The Taken may well be the tool the darkness favors over any other. At some point, they used to be human, but whatever humanity they once had
Yeah,
is
sounds
long
good.
gone.
Thanks for stopping by.
Now they're just shells
Are
covered
you
and filled by
gonna be on
darkness.
today as well?
The Taken Mr. throws at me are more grotesque and varied than the
Yeah,
ones
thanks
I
again for
first
stopping by.
encountered in
It was
Bright
nice
Falls.
chatting with you,
But I know how to deal with
and
them.
hope you have a good
I'd
rest of
be
your
lying
day
if
as well.
I said they don't frighten me. But I've survived worse. I can't let them stop me.
Oh, okay, you're on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Okay, awesome. Well, then maybe I'll stop by tomorrow if you're on. Yeah, have a good rest of your day. Stay warm if it's chilly where you are. I think it's chilly everywhere. But yeah, thanks again for stopping by. It was definitely nice chatting. I was gonna replay this.
The Taken may well be the tool the darkness favors over any other. At some point, they used to be human, but whatever humanity they once had is long gone. Now they're just shells covered and filled by darkness. The Taken Mr. throws at me are more grotesque and varied than the ones I first encountered in Bright Falls. But I know how to deal with them. I'd be lying if I said they don't frighten me. But I've survived worse. I can't let them stop me.
Yeah, so like you said, like the enemies are a little tougher, but knowing how to deal with them, like to me, it's like they're tougher, but also easier because I know strategy of how to defeat them a little bit more than before. So they're not overly terrible enemies, but I do like that they changed the enemies in this game as well, introducing new ideas. Alright, so Dr. Meadows.
When Dr. Rachel Meadows got the call from Michael, telling her to hurry to the observatory, she didn't waste any time. It had been a nice party. She'd had a good time, but her social life would always play second fiddle to the mysteries of space. Michael never showed up, of course. He pulled over at the wrong rest stop. She never even thought about him at the time. The phenomenon in the sky above her was too fascinating.
So secure the primary pipes. Alright, so at least that's all of them. Oh, I can shoot through? Okay, that's cool that I can shoot through the fence. Like, the grenade stuff is interesting. Cause like that I could hear like the little wheezing, whispering. I'm just gonna check all the way back here first before going in. Cause I have a feeling... Oh. Radio show?
Oh, praise be. You guys
Sure.
are coming through for me. A pretty little light just started blinking on my board here, and that means there's a caller out there. You know, when the hours stretch into eternity like this, it feels like I'm stuck in a rut and just reliving the same endless night over and over again.
We all are.
I feel genuinely touched by someone actually reaching out to me, breaking the monotony. I just want you to know that it really matters to me, Caller, you're on the air. You suck, Andy! Did you know that this is my dream job? True fact.
And end. Oh yeah. That was funny though. Oh, okay, I think. Okay. So I did kind of circle around already.
These beings hate the light, am I correct? You should be able to turn on the lights and secure the area that way.
Doctor, can you hear me? I think we're good to go.
Cool it.
All right. I'll start looking for the signal. Please, head back.
I guess they didn't like that.
Guess he didn't like it either. I'm trying to think, did I think I went up the right side this time?
Whole damn mountain's trying to kill me.
Ooh. I think I dodged too far to the right. Alright. So now the difficulty goes up a lot. The heck? Yeah, so and I like how the battery to the flashlight replenishes a lot faster. But with this being,
Shit. Wrong way.
oh, so it's forcing me to go the other way, apparently. Fine, I'll go this way. Double kill. How is that not an achievement? There should be like a meter of the farthest a dead body has been launched. Every time I hear a hawk, I think of Assassin's Creed. Yeah. I'll just go in. I was gonna reload, replenish everything. Oh, TV? Messed up TV show? Yeah, another messed up TV
I know
show.
what you're thinking. Evil twin, supernatural powers. But most of the time, I just like to keep things basic. I want you to understand that. Like this. Need to get your hands dirty? No batteries, no moving parts, just physics. That's technology you can depend on. It's a classic. Speaking of classics, you need to be careful with this one now. If the victim suddenly twists, you might end up cutting yourself. It's not really a workhorse, but I'm a sucker for this style. Now this is more like it. You've got slip-resistant grip. Believe me, you really want that traction once you're wrist deep in somebody. The blade's stiff enough so it won't open by accident in your pocket, but it's still really easy to open with just one hand. Now that's a big thing for me. I know what you're thinking. It's too big, too heavy. But sometimes you just need the extra oomph. If you're talking intimidation, this is gonna do the job. Also great for dismemberings and whatnot. You know, the messy jobs. I can't tell you how many things I've MacGyvered with this stuff. Okay, now, guns. Not a big fan. I mean, how are you supposed to really connect with somebody with a bullet? I want you to understand that. I take pride in what I do. We can't both be worthless hacks, can we?
Yes, you can. You're just worthless in other ways.
It's working. Please, come up here.
Then I'll just replenish all the ammo and stuff up here before going up. Okay, so okay. So it actually does replenish everything.
You find the signal?
Yes, I don't think it's quite the same thing we had, the last time. Still, we're definitely picking it up.
Are we getting the complete signal now?
I'm afraid not. Take a look at it yourself. I'm printing out a hard copy now. I'd like to ask you a question or two before that, though, if you don't mind.
What's on your mind, Doctor?
Most people would find these events extremely disturbing, provided that they survive these creatures, that is. You seem to be quite adept at dealing with the situation. Why is that?
Yes, I was involved in... It's a complex story. I was in this small town, and a horrible thing from another dimension kidnapped my wife and manipulated me into writing this horror story that came true. I learned to fight it with light, and I managed to contain it and free my wife. But I was trapped in its world.
Are you serious?
Absolutely. So, I'm used to reality working in strange or even impossible ways. And I fought these things, not exactly like this, but close enough for a good while now. Of course, I have certain advantages. Was there anything else?
What did you mean when you said you have advantages?
At the risk of sounding like a lunatic, reality is much more fluid than people think. It can be influenced.
I didn't take you for a mystic.
I'm not. I'm a writer. And under certain conditions, I can, for lack of a better word, rewrite reality. Change things.
That's absurd.
But it works.
Assuming I believe this, why don't you simply, I don't know, write yourself some superpowers?
It's not quite that simple. You need to follow certain laws of drama, I suppose. You need to think about consistency and symbolism. Often what you write isn't anywhere near as important as what you imply. There are things out there that will take advantage of your mistakes.
You really believe in this?
Don't look at me like that. You've experienced some of this yourself.
I will gladly admit that something exceedingly strange is going on. But this idea that you're somehow altering reality with your writing is ridiculous. You're essentially saying you're controlling my actions. Leaving aside the rational arguments against this, what gives you the right?
Well, it's more like having a destiny. A path you're on. You're not aware of it, but there it is. If somebody changes it, what difference does it make? It's what every writer does. If you write something that affects one of the characters, they don't really know about that.
I'm not a character. Are you saying that it's all right to take advantage of someone if they aren't aware of it?
Look, all I meant was that if you're genuinely making all your own decisions, and those decisions lead to whatever destiny you have, what practical difference does it make?
I suppose that depends on whether our destinies are determined by things like physics and probabilities, or natural reality, which is presumably neutral and impartial, or by some kind of an intelligence. If it's the latter, that intelligence makes choices based on some criteria. If we suffer as a result of those choices, there's a moral and ethical element involved, regardless of whether we're aware of its manipulations. Wouldn't you agree?
You're taking this very well. I thought you'd be hangry.
I suppose I would be if I thought you could actually do this.
Do you say hangry? I heard hangry.
Another printout. Another signal fragment. The message is still not complete, but it's another piece of the weapon he has built against his adversary. Mere words on a piece of paper, but in the right hands, they will hold back the darkness